What is shaking? I was trying to make Nikki laugh. She never laughs. What is shaking? It's your boy, Marc Cordon, Golden Mike, episode 62. This is something that we want to do a lot. We're always talking about changing our lives. We're always making resolutions. We're always saying that we want to be better. But how many of us actually follow through on that? Nikki has the surefire solution to that. It's been proven empirically. It's been proven in neuroscience. It is not shady McGrady woo-woo, funky monkey onomatopoeia magic. It is straight up science the way that you do it. And it's just like lifting a muscle the way that you do it. So we will talk about that. Dr. Nikki Tobias is with us today. Dr. Nikki Tobias, crisis management. She's been in nonprofit management. She's been in domestic violence. Dang, she's been in a lot of things. She is now a certified life coach. Much love to your sister. There was once a time back in the day when we sat in the same doctoral classes at the University of Georgia, both in training to be student affairs administrators. Sometimes I think, what the hell was I thinking? But also I am so grateful that I got to go through that program and meet folks like you and learn from the amazing professors and the amazing at the University of Georgia. We're talking change your thoughts, change your life. My name is Marc Cordon. If you haven't met me, I'm the founder of the Make Money Coaching Program. More importantly, I'm a positive psychology coach. First learned about positive psychology when I was working at the University of Georgia. Positive psychology coach, it means two things. How happy are you feeling? Are you happy at your full potential today? And then number two is, are you at your full capacity when you're feeling like you're living life to your fullest? So Nikki, you're a smart cookie. So you know I'm gonna ask you a double-barreled question here.
Please, bring it.
Are you feeling happy and living life to your fullest today?
Yeah, so let me take issue with the fact that I do actually laugh an awful lot, but I am also a work first, play later. So I am.
You were so damn serious in those classes. I was so like intimidated because I never saw you laugh because you were so serious in those classes.
Yeah, well, I'm a thinker. I'm an analyzer. I'm an overanalyzer, if I were being honest. Am I happy today? Absolutely, I'm happy today. Am I at my best? I don't know that I ever am, right? I think the minute that I get to the place where I am like, man, everything's good. Now, not that I don't have those moments all throughout the day, every day. Like, that tree is beautiful, and I'm so thankful for my car, and holy cow, it's not raining today. I love that. And all these little things, and I can pick up on those all throughout the day, every day, and be grateful for them and feel like, man, overall things are really, really good. But I know about me that when I get in that place of like kind of sitting down and looking around like, man, everything's good, that I get too comfortable. And so that's generally when I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm a person that always has lots of plates spinning. And again, that doesn't mean that there isn't balance, and that doesn't mean there isn't rest and fun and friends and all of those things. But when things get comfortable and lax, sometimes I'm like, okay, what's next? Because I don't want to stop.
I love how you bring that up, because oftentimes people see sort of this fulfillment of purpose as this unidirectional sort of destination. And once you get to that destination, you're there. It's over. End of movie. Roll the credits. But oftentimes what happens, cruise control, right? But oftentimes when you get to that place, you have a new perspective which expands your purpose. And so your purpose gets more epic. And it gets more epic, and it gets more epic, which is, how you can go from having one client to next thing, serving, an entire movement. It's how movement work in general works. You worked in nonprofits and domestic violence. Those are movements, I got some people that are checking in with you.
Awesome.
Kelly Shambaugh gave you some love already.
Hello.
And a wow face. Kelly Shambaugh's dropping all this love on you today.
Awesome.
Jennifer Jordan gave you the hard eyes.
Yay.
Jennifer Jordan gave you a hard eyes. TC Casey, go Patriots, Dr. Tobias. I don't know if that's
I'm a Steeler fan.
I was like, I don't know.
Steelers all the way. I'm from Pennsylvania.
So we got some crap talking already. And we got Double R Ramses giving us the thumbs up today. Good to see you. Yes, says Kelly. Good to see y'all. Now, Kelly, Jennifer, TC, Ramsey, if you're feeling good today, if you're feeling relatively good and you're feeling like you're living close to your full purpose, bring it up. Bring your hand up with me, Nikki. I want y'all, make a heart, Nikki. I want y'all to press the heart button so we know that you're living life to the fullest. How do you beat that heart over there in Athens, Georgia?
Yeah, music, moonroof open.
Press those hearts, y'all. Press those hearts. Let us know what's going on. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of people think that positive psychology is always about happiness 24/7, shits and giggles, Taco Tuesday every single day, right? Triple rainbows across the sky all the time. It's not. No. It's not. It's the range of emotions that we feel, and feeling those feels and allowing that to be a part of our hero's journey.
Yeah.
Now, you may have woken up today and you're like, you know what? I was a 10 out of 10 last week. And if you told me how happy was I, and I'm like a 5 now and I don't know why. Or if you're like, a year ago in my PhD program, I was living in full purpose. And now I'm in total dissonance now. Like I feel out of it. Yeah. That is cool. Your heart is beating just like Nikki and mine. Yep. Give us a thumbs up and let us know that you're alive. By the way, this will be part of your TED Talk or like your book later on in life. That's right. The story of struggle and conquering is a human fundamental story that all of us go through, even when it comes through changing your thoughts and changing your life.
Yep.
Here's the final thing. Let's see if Dr. Tobias does this. We've had a few doctors on the and we're 50-50 right now with the doctors doing this. I think Tobias will do it. I think she's cool enough to do this. Here's one of the biggest things. Here is one of the biggest things in whatever a positive psychology. You can be up, you can be down, you can be all around today. But if you know that tomorrow will be better than today, if you're optimistic about the future, nothing can go wrong. If you're optimistic about the future, things may feel yucky in the change, but nothing can go wrong. So, Dr. Tobias and everybody who's watching, there is another button down there. It is called the wow face. And Dr. Tobias and I are going to demonstrate the wow face in 3 seconds. 2, 1. Let me see you make that wow face, Dr. Tobias.
I do a whole lot more side-eye faces at people than wow faces usually, but I will do a wow face for you.
Well, let's do it. Let's do a combo. Wow face into a side-eye. Go. Ooh, menacing. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thanks for playing along with that. Just because we're talking about serious issues don't mean we can bring levity into it and talk about these kind of things. I should have talked to you a lot more in that damn program. Now that I'm thinking about this, we would have been besties, homie.
Yeah.
So those are the intros. Those are the wow faces. Nikki, what is your story?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I was actually an undergrad, first generation college student. Went to undergrad, ended up getting a chemistry degree, and but while I was in college, realized like people work here. That's a pretty cool gig, right? This is a pretty fun place to be. And so I went and turned around from a chemistry degree, chemistry education, to get a degree in counseling and student affairs. And I can promise you, there are not two more opposing poles on a continuum than chemistry and counseling, right? I joke with people that in chemistry, the answer was right or wrong to 4 decimal places and nobody cared how you felt about it. And then I went into student affairs program and we would have these 45-minute, hour-long debates about things. And I would be like, so what's the answer? And my professor would be like,
depends.
The discussion is the answer.
The discussion.
The whole discussion is the answer. And I was like, oh, and so, it was a huge identity shift for me. But what it does for me, Mark, is it allows me to have all the black and white, but all the gray too, right? I can pin down and hone in on things really quickly, but I can also hear what you're not saying, and I can sit with my prior domestic violence clients and cry and hold their hand and meet them where they are. And I don't know that there are a lot of coaches out there. I'm assured that you do that too, but there are not a lot of coaches out there that can do both, sort of kick you in the ass when you need it and hold your hand when you need it. And we as human beings, in exactly what you said earlier, we have the right, and more than that, we have the responsibility to feel all of our feelings. Because the minute we squash any ounce of that, we're having a heart attack, we're having an ulcer, we're taking our feelings out on people that don't deserve it, we're not being good to ourselves, we're overeating, whatever your shtick is, whatever your fallback is, that happens because we haven't aired out the dirty laundry that we have. And so we have the right, and as I said, more importantly, the responsibility to feel all of our feelings. From my perspective, then, it's to backtrack a little and figure out how we got to that feeling, and then also say, okay, and so where do I go from here? So you were talking about hope for tomorrow. Hell, I have hope for tonight. I have hope for 3 hours from now, right? Because if we lived in a place where things were only going to get worse, we wouldn't continue to exist as our best selves and looking for better, looking for more, looking for higher, looking for growth. And listen, here is the thing we know to be true. We learn the most when things are the hardest. We learn when we struggle. We learn when we're sad. We learn when we get fired. We learn when relationships break up, right? I mean, we can absolutely learn in fun, happy times, but the learning that sticks with you is usually because of the struggle. And that's the benefit of the struggle, I think. If you can get to the other side of it and figure out what you gained from the struggle, then what?
I think the word, I love how you throw that out there. By the way, if you can't see the screen right now, I can't keep up with you. So I'm just saying, Tobias is dropping pipe bombs. Everybody who's watching, I can already tell this is going to be a very special episode. I want Kelly, Allison, Kelly again, Jennifer, TC, Jennifer, TC, Ramses, TC, all the people who are liking this, share this. I can tell this is going to be a very special one. Share this one out. Dr. Tobias deserves to be heard. Her voice deserves to be heard. So, okay, so we're talking about this sort of, I also agree with you. I don't even know where to go. God, did you prepare that?
Wing and a prayer, Mark. Wing and a prayer. Let me say one more thing while you jump in. Here is my favorite Nikkiism of all time, and you've all heard it, but maybe not heard it this way. This is the most simple and yet the most profound thing that people take from me is you are at no now. There is nothing on the planet like the chances of us getting the things we don't ask for are really pretty slim, right? We're not likely to get the things we don't ask for. And so people come to me for coaching and I say, they're frustrated about how much money they make. And I'm like, have you asked for a raise? And oh no, I can't ask for a raise. Well, why can't you ask for a raise? And we do this whole shenanigans about why the person can't ask for a raise. And I'm like, here's the thing, you're at no right now. So you're going to march in the boss's office and you're going to, very professionally and in a prepared way that I can help you with if you want, say, here are the reasons, Mr. or Dr. or Mrs. So-and-so, that I believe I need a raise. And a couple things could happen. They laugh and tell you no. Well, you were at no before you walked in. Or they say, I need some more time to think about it, at which this prolongs it, but that's okay. Or they say yes. And so you don't have a damn thing to lose. You are at no now. You are at no whether or not you ask for a date. You are at no whether or not you ask for a raise. You are at no whether or not you apply for the job. You're at no whether or not you ask that person to be your friend or come for dinner or whatever it is. You're at no right now. There is not one thing to lose.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, and oftentimes, I think many people intuitively know that they're at a no, but they don't take action to turn it into a yes.
Right.
Or the feelings that they have are so suppressed, like you talked about. Like, we are emotional beings, right?
Absolutely.
And people actually think that so many of our thoughts could control our actions, but in so many ways, the thoughts lead to the emotions, and then the emotions are what dictate the actions. Are you feeling me, sister?
That's my whole shtick. And action or inaction, and inaction is a choice. When you choose not to do something, inaction is a choice. And so if somebody said to me, Nikki, I hate your blue hair. Now, I don't know if you can see, I have some funny hair. I'm digging it. Blue hair, but if somebody said to me, Nikki, I hate your blue hair, I would not spend 10 seconds thinking about that, because that's just not true. If somebody said, Nikki, you're mean, I wouldn't spend 10 seconds of energy on that, because I know that I am not mean. But if somebody says something to me that was already sensitive, that was already a sore spot, that is already a hurt, that's what I turn into something more than it needs to be, right? That's where, when I have a feeling that is not where I want it to be, where my energy is low, where I'm hurt or angry or whatever that is, I go back to, what is the thought I'm thinking and what am I making it mean? So if I have an interaction with somebody close to me and they're in a really bad mood today, if I don't have all the information about why they're in a bad mood, our brains will make it up. Our brains are notorious for filling in the gaps. And so I don't know why so-and-so is upset with me. And one of the options I have is to choose that I don't know why they're in a bad mood. One of the options is to choose that, they must be upset with me. Right? And we as a whole world will then make all sorts of decisions about what we're going to do based on our assumption that so-and-so's mad at us, and that's why they're in a bad mood. When in reality, they just stubbed their toe, or they got bad news about something, or they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or whatever that was that had nothing to do with us, but we chose to make it about us, and then we took action based on that. And all of that is BS.
Yep. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so funny how we can live our life by the little truth, the tiny T, that we think is the universal truth.
Absolutely.
And we allow that to take over it, and we operate based on that. So funny. I want to rewind here, because I do not remember you being like this in the program, but I don't think you remember me being like this well, I think you knew I was a little bit like this in the program, a little bit of a recalcitrant, but like, let's talk about like little Nikki, and did you aspire to go into all the things that you wanted to? Did you, like, where were you at when you were younger, and what got you so interested in the coaching field?
Yeah, so I got a PhD for me. That wasn't about anybody else. I loved school. I always loved school, and I thought it'd be really cool to be called doctor. And I wanted that. That wasn't about anybody else. But back then, I was really thinking I wanted to be a college president at a small liberal arts, probably public institution, because that's sort of what I was raised in. I just really like the feel of that and the opportunity of that for people like me who are first generation college students. And then while I was in my PhD, although it's hard, it's not morning, noon, and night. It wasn't that sort of intensity that I was used to working in residence life before I got my PhD. And in residence life, right, there's a lot of 2 a.m. crisis calls about drug overdose and suicide attempts and sexual assaults. And I mean, all the terrible things that happen at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning. And I did a bunch of that. And it's interesting how the universe works, because when my residence life friends would talk about being in residence life, I'd be like, man, better you than me. That'll never be me. And then, you know what? God in the universe, my first job was as a director of residence life, right? And then my second job was as an assistant director of residence life at a little bit larger institution. But I'm supervising 80 or 85 young people as resident assistants. I'm managing crisis like crazy. And then I go get my PhD, and I'm crazy, but it was a little calm. And so I decided to get connected with the local sexual assault center, and then that dovetailed into ending up serving on the board for the local domestic violence program, and then getting hired as their director. And so I ran a 15-bed shelter, a $750,000 annual budget. We had apartments and houses and transitional housing, a 10,000 square foot thrift store. We were doing all that, and I was working one-on-one with clients. And so and frankly, Mark, I just got burnt out. I didn't know what I know now about managing my thoughts, and about boundaries, and about my wellness. And as you said earlier, it being a movement, there will always, unfortunately, be work to do around domestic violence and sexual assault and depression and suicidality and alcoholism and comorbid mental health things. And I kept putting my superwoman cape on and trying to save everybody else's day. And I got to a place where, physically, I was in a really bad place, medically. And I thought, you know what, Nikki, it's about time to put the superwoman cape on and save your own damn day. And I left it. I left it cold. I hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I left it. And I had been thinking about coaching for a long time, because I had been coaching. I'd been coaching college students, and I'd been coaching faculty, and I had been coaching staff, and now domestic violence survivors, and, board members and other staff of mine in that capacity. I'd always been coaching, but I had literally been coaching about life and death. And in populations where I got no closure, those students graduated or those clients left, and there was never, are they okay? And are they alive? And what's going on? And how are those kids? And for me, my heart, I gave part of my heart to every single person I ever coached, every single person I ever helped save a life, every single person, every single kid that I was a part of how they got raised. A part of my heart went with them. And I thought, I can't keep doing this at this level. I've gotta, it sounds simplistic, but it's so powerful. I said, I got to get out of this life and death work, and I got to start coaching people on happy goals. I literally cannot do this baseline literal survival. But I'm so freaking good at it that I want to use it, but to help people up level, to help those folks that still want to be reflective, but are also willing to take action, lead a life of their choosing, of their direction, not based on what somebody else said or did. And in that process, that's when I learned a lot about this piece that our thoughts lead to our feelings, lead to our action and inaction, and that cycles around and around and around.
Well, I think one of the things that I observed is the work that you've done prior to coaching, and even coaching itself, but especially the work that you did prior to coaching. It's innately built into the job description. It's not a practiced value to practice self-care. You are constantly giving to the machine, right? And that's organizational development one-on-one. Like, you are a replaceable cog, right? And I think one of the things is that it recruits people who in their heart are like, I love the work that I do, which is why I'm willing to take a lower pay cut for this when they're doing transformative work. And then also at the same time, in taking the lower pay cut, they can rationalize, I must be changing lives. And so I must be on call. I must be not on call, but like, because that's just part of the job, but like, I must be over delivering and over delivering and over delivering and over delivering until you're pulled in a million different directions.
And always available.
Always available.
Always available.
Always available. I definitely struggled with it the first two years that I was working in multicultural, because you had a lot of shit come in. And my partner at the time, I'd come home from work and she's like, honey, you've been in the shower for 45 minutes and it's ice cold. Like I'd just be a zombie at the end of the day. And it wasn't self-care. I mean, it's the self-care people do, right? Like you get in the tub and like you drink some wine, you take a picture of your toes and then you put it on Instagram, right? But that's not self-care. That's not proactive self-care. It's reactive self-care, right? And other things that bother me, and it's not just higher education, but like the idea that you need to fake it till you make it and you got to grind and you got to do this. Yes, the struggle is real with some of these things, but so is the hustle. And if you understand that the hustle isn't working harder, but it's working really smart, knowing your network, knowing how to amplify things, talking to the right people, it becomes a lot easier. And you're right. I think you and I, especially you, we were trained to be coaches by seeing a crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis. I remember it was like probably like Residence Life. For me, it was like a revolving door of, I wonder who's going to come in next, and whether they're suicidal or whether they're deciding to come out of the closet to their family, or whether they don't know what classes to take. That's life coaching. That is life coaching, right?
Well, and here's the thing, though. That's not on the job description anywhere. So we hire all sorts of people that have never, ever done it. And yet they're charged with doing it every single day. And that it can be done wrong.
Very wrong. It's done wrong all the time.
Right. And so it's like we are literally holding these people in our hands who are already at risk and already in crisis, doing a thing we were only sort of kind of trained to do.
Yep.
And then like throwing them up and hoping the wings come out.
Yeah.
Hoping that their wings can carry them.
Yeah, and the core of what we were taught in student affairs is challenge, support, and readiness.
Yes.
And that is the same thing that I use still to this day. Yes. Like when people come in, I'm like, okay, how can I challenge? How can I support? And what is their level of readiness?
Yes.
As that readiness goes further and further and further, I now call it capacity building. As their capacity gets larger, I can challenge even more. As that level of, no, I can't do this gets higher, I come back and support. It's a very simple concept, and it's the first thing in day one that we're taught. However, I've seen plenty of people think that they're great ass advisors by telling people what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that they haven't built a relationship, because the flip side, Mark, is if I have a really good coaching relationship with somebody and they trust me, their capacity is going to be greater. Because if we've already come to this place and they already trust that I may have a more keen awareness of their potential than they even do.
Yeah.
They're going to be willing to take a risk and take a chance and knowing they can lean on me. Listen, you message me, you text me, I will cheerlead you. I will kick your butt if that's what it takes. If this is what you want, I am in it with you.
Yeah.
But it takes that relationship too. And it takes a coach who is willing, who has already been, and then continues to be willing to be vulnerable and authentic. I have to be willing to talk about the fact that I got divorced. I have to be willing to talk about the fact that I got burnt out at my job and left it. I have to be willing to talk about the fact that, I don't know, I have a PhD, and when I apply for things, I'm told I'm overqualified and will want too much money, even though those folks never talk to me. Right? Like, I have to be willing to show
Yeah.
all of me,
Yep.
whether the glass is scratched or broken or just dirty, in order for those people to know that it's a safe place to share what's going on with them? And I can't ask them for more than I've already been willing to do in my own life.
Yep.
And that's where I think people get it wrong too. Everybody and their brothers out there saying, I as a coach will coach you into a 6 or 7 figure business.
Yep.
But they've never actually worked as a coach.
Yep. Yep.
I'm a little miffed about all that.
Yep.
Because, and again, I want to be the coach that shows up, and sometimes when you're crying, I get a little teary because I'm so in it with you. And sometimes when you're angry, I'm like, yeah, let's kill this thing because I'm so in it with you, you know, that your goals become my goals, except that I see it through a different lens. So I can say a bit farther away from it than you can.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And that's one of the things that I loved about Coach Training 101 is don't jump in the box with them.
Yeah.
Have that distance.
Yep.
And while they're in the box dealing with their shit, you focus on them.
Yep.
So they can work through their shit, and you know they have someone who can provide the challenge, support, and the ready according to their readiness.
Yep.
So I'm curious. We started off. The screen says Nikki is dropping pipe bombs again. I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with your pipe bombs here.
Well, that's cool.
You're like, God, you knew what you were going to do. So let's go to actually changing your thoughts to change your life. How do thoughts affect our life, Nikki?
So I want to throw out a resource really quickly.
Yeah.
There's a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And it's a business book. But it's profound. And I love, more than even the really specifics in the book, that sentiment of what got us here won't get us there. And so you had a certain amount of skill or a certain amount of comfort or a certain amount of willingness to take risk. That got you to where you are. And then we're plateaued unless or until we're willing to build more skill, take more risk, lean in, whatever that looks like to get to the next place. And so that's part of what coaching does. But that goes back to the very first thing we were talking about is like, am I happy right now? And am I hopeful for the future? Am I hopeful for tomorrow? And me saying, I don't ever want to get comfortable. I don't ever want to hit cruise control. And part of that for me is always about what are the new skills? What are the new challenges? And you said, I'm really different than I was in my PhD. And, I don't know, that's hard for me to see sort of forest in the trees, right? Like if somebody loses a ton of weight, they don't see it every day.
Yep.
The other person who hasn't seen them for a month says, holy cow, you look amazing. Good for you, But I will say I have a better connection with head and heart.
Yep.
And that is a journey too.
Yep.
I have a really strong brain, and it's really easy for me to just go there.
Yeah.
And to the point that when I go to counseling, when I picked a counselor, when I called them, I said, listen, I have a counseling degree, and I'm going to need somebody who's going to hang with me intellectually and who's going to call me on my shit in a loving way. And that's going to force me to go from my brain into my heart, because I have to understand something before I can truly feel it. And then once I can feel it, now all of a sudden, like we said earlier, sort of like I air out that laundry, and now I'm good. Now I'm lighter.
Yep.
Now I'm able to view the world through this different set of lenses, or cleaner lenses, or whatever that looks like. And so, when we know more, we do different. And so I am better able at connecting those things. I'm better able to be vulnerable. And you probably have talked on here before in a prior show, but there's this whole imposter syndrome thing, right? That we talk a lot about in a PhD program. But man, every person on the planet should know about imposter syndrome. Every single one of us who pushes a boundary that we've never pushed before feels like somebody's going to figure out that we are not smart enough, ready enough, experienced enough, daring enough, loving enough, whatever that is, we're going to get caught. Somebody's going to figure out that we shouldn't be where we are in a relationship, in a job, going to school, whatever that next level is. And I just would want those people to know that you are not alone.
Yeah.
And that frankly, when my clients get to that place, I'm like, you know what? If you weren't nervous, if you didn't feel an ounce of that, that's when I'd be worried.
That is so true. That is so true. I mean, I never thought about the fact that the imposter syndrome could be a universal feeling. We definitely had a guest that really broke it down once, and it was like, imposter syndrome is like a meta term, and we feel it in different ways.
Absolutely.
Perfectionism is a part of imposter syndrome,
Yep.
right? And so, you know, there's all these different ways that it can show up, and depending on the space that you're in. I mean, like, again, I keep going back to things like the PhD program, but any kind of organization, there's unconscious posturing that's going on
all the time,
right? You're always wondering if I, you know, did I drop something that impressed them? Oh my God, I just said something, and like, what if they blah blah blah? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it is completely wild. And for me, that was a big reason why I wanted to go into coaching, was to how can we eliminate this? We can't really eliminate it, but you're right. When you grow, the imposter syndrome grows with you, because it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm making $12,000 a month. Holy cow, they're really gonna figure me out. Right. Oh my gosh, I'm.
What if it all falls apart? Imposter syndrome, and even that posturing piece, all hinges on everybody else's insecurity. That is not from a stance of confidence. Because if you're truly confident, you don't worry about any of the rest of it, right? Like I said, if somebody said, Nikki, I hate your blue hair, I don't spend 3 seconds thinking about that. That's not true. But if somebody comes at me like, Nikki, you're bossy. Well, I grew up hearing I was bossy. So if that's still a sore spot for me, then all of a sudden now I have all this insecurity about, man, did I say that wrong? Did I do that wrong? Should I have done that differently? Do I need to like be more meek or more quiet or less me or less bold, or, you know, take up less space, right? That's a common sort of woman thing to do. Let me take up less space. Or, and I joke with my clients, I said I spent a lot of dollars and a lot of hours in counseling to be able to say, this is not my shit. Right? There's a time to be reflective and to own, oh no, I did that. Right? Yeah. I am not saying do not take personal responsibility. There's times when it's like, oh man, I really jacked that up. And I want to apologize to that person, or I need to fix that thing, or whatever that is. But I will tell you more often than not, for most of us, this is not my shit is the right answer. And that we need to stop owning the shit that is not ours to own. I need to stop carrying everybody else's shit. Because the truth is, when I make your shit mine, all of a sudden now I'm trying to like unload it all. I'm feeling more imposter syndrome. I'm changing who I am in the world. And I don't want to give anybody that much power in my life.
It is giving away of power. Yeah.
So when my boss comes and they're rip-roaring about whatever it is, and I'm as professional as I can be, and then I reflect on the scenario, hopefully there's a couple things that I say, okay, yeah, I could have communicated that differently. I could have copied so-and-so on it instead. You know, I could have done these things. But the method with which she shared that is not my shit. Or the intensity with which that person was angry, or how unprofessionally they handled that meeting, or even in our love relationships, right?
Yep.
That whole piece about the intensity of this does not match the issue at hand. There's something else going on here. And then I get to decide whether I want to approach that with that person or not.
Yeah.
But when we can get to the place of being able to say clearly and without reservation, I can own what's mine to own, and there's a piece of this that is not my shit.
So am I hearing this as sort of a boundary?
Yeah, I mean, in part, but I think it's self-preservation, Mark. I think we exist in, like, somebody cuts you off on the street and you're like, rah! And I'm like,
I saw your post about it.
And I try to do the, like, you know what? They're having a worse day than me today, or they're in a bigger hurry than I am, or, you know what I mean? Like, I really try, because if you doing that changes my day, That's on me. That doesn't have a damn thing to do with you. If you misbehaving to me or in my presence is something I carry, I can't even be upset with you about that. That's on me.
My gosh. Your Georgia accent is coming out now when you're dropping these pipe
I
bombs.
haven't even been in Georgia all that long. I have not. And if I say that Y''ALL word, I have told my Pennsylvania friends to come pick me up.
Yo!
Bring me back. I'm trying not to do it.
We're going to burn all your Steelers gear, and I'm going to hand it to TC as he has his TB12 jersey on.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. Like we've talked some about thoughts affecting your life. What about decision making?
Absolutely.
And what about sort of decision making, clarifying what you want in life? What is your take on that?
Yeah, so I do this really simple thing, and most people pay me for this, so I'm going to put it out to your audience for free, and we'll see what y'all think about it. But I have used it for everything from life partners to buying a refrigerator. And you're not going to believe it works across the board, but I promise you it does. So take a piece of paper and flip it, horizontally widthwise, and make 4 columns. And the far left column is must-haves. The next one over is it would be nice if. The third is I'd rather not. And the fourth is absolutely not.
Okay, so one more time. Must-haves.
Must-haves. It would be nice if. I'd rather not. And absolutely not. And I can tell you I have a giant Post-it hanging in my dining room right now. I'm doing the online dating thing, and I'm actually in the process of writing a book about online dating as an adult, which is going to be hysterical and amazing all at the same time.
Oh
so
my
those of you
God.
doing it, it's a roller coaster. And
that sounds like a train wreck.
No, I've been online dating for a year, and I've learned so much. And so I want other people to get to learn from, not make the mistakes I did. But anyway, so out there is a list of all those things. But again, you can do it when you're buying a car. You can do it about a job opportunity that's
coming. Can do it when you're
about a life partner. And I would argue that you would do that before an option comes along, if that makes sense. So like while I'm single, before I start dating, I'm going to go through each of these columns. Before I ever go to Lowe's to look at refrigerators or washers or whatever it is, before I go to Honda to buy a car, whatever that looks like.
Are you sponsored by these people? What are you dropping all these corporate names?
Just things I like. I worked at Lowe's for a million years and I'm a Honda snob. It's okay. These are the things I like. But if you fill all that out ahead of time, then when options come along for you, you're checking down the list, and it's no longer about what you're enamored by. It's no longer the butterflies in your belly. It's no longer like, man, he's really hot. It's how many of the things on the left side of the list are checked and how many are on the right side. Now, when I used to work with college students, and many of them were facing engagements, proposals. Am I going to marry this person? Is this my life person? Am I going to move in? How's that look? I said, listen, here's the thing. You're an adult. You are welcome to choose the person that has more things on the right check than the left, but then you don't get to come back to me and complain about it. Right? As an adult in the world, we have opportunity and choice and free will every day, all the time.
Yeah, we do.
But if you choose the person or the washer or the car that has all the right things checked on the right-hand side, and that goes
absolutely
south,
not.
Then you got to think about, there's a deeper piece for you about why that was okay. Why you made it okay. What about your worth says it's okay to choose the thing you never wanted to begin with?
That's awesome. I'm just curious, why, like, are there like, let's do a quick qualitative scan and the themes that come up from this, right? Like, what are the most prevalent themes for why people make decisions that are in the absolutely nots?
Other people's expectation.
Yeah.
My parents said, my husband thinks, my boss, blah, blah, blah. It's the one that's on sale. It's easy. It's comfortable. I don't think I deserve what's on the left.
Yep. That is a nice prescription for living a life where you're settling.
Or not. Well, my hope is, like, if you start doing this and you truly map out what all the whole page is, but you start really honing in on that left side, you start really resonating, you
the left side,
visioning what that looks like, that's going to feel so damn good that you can't imagine anything else.
Yeah.
And then if you believe in The Secret or the law of attraction, or you are a Christian and you pray, whatever that looks like, that's what you start either attracting, meditating on, visioning, praying for. Whatever your belief system is, we don't get what we want unless we're clear about what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let me ask you about this other side. To many people, actually, clarity is one of the hardest things.
Absolutely.
Right? So, for example, must-haves, got to make more money. I would say that is not a clear must-have.
Agreed. They have to be like goals or objectives. You have to be able to check them off. But I will say, here's a clarification piece. And again, y'all are getting a whole lot for your $0 today. Let's just be clear. Somebody might say a must-have is $50,000.
Yes.
But it would be nice if is $85,000. Right? So the 50,000 is the cake and the 85 is the icing. You can have similar things in both of those columns. There isn't a once and done. But it's like, I must have benefits. And then you play that out. Health insurance for myself and my family, paid time off, whatever. It would be really nice if they had a retirement plan.
Okay.
Right? And that's just black and white. It gets a little more gray if you're looking at a person and relationship, that kind of stuff. But even that gets really, really interesting. I can have 3 women fill this out, or 3 men, 3 anybody, fill this out. And like mine, and I didn't realize this at the time, forest in the trees, right? I'm in the middle of doing it. And then I stepped back and looked and I was like, there is not a single thing on this list that has anything to do with appearance. And that was just an interesting sort of recognition for me, because, and I didn't realize it until I had some folks do it. And there was a lot of appearance things on there. They need to be so tall and such a color hair and such a build and, ba-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, that never crossed my mind. And I'm not alleging any judgment. Like, we all have to be honest about that form and what we're really looking for. But it's so interesting what can come of that, about what's really important to me versus what's really important to someone that could be my very best friend or my sibling. And they could be night and day different. And that's what's cool about the world, and we as unique individuals.
So this is so simple and so money. I'm really appreciative of this. Now, what happens when someone writes a must-have and they're like, I do not think I'll ever attain it, though. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a pipe dream must-have, but it's a must-have.
Mm-hmm. Well, first, Mark, I want to flesh out, is it really a must-have, or is it and it would be nice if? I really would want to flesh that out first, because if you truly believe it's a must-have, then you also have to be in the place to believe that it exists. Right? You have to believe it exists for you to have it on the must-have list. And I also believe, again, whether you believe in The Secret or Christianity or any number of other things, we don't have dreams that aren't meant for us. Because I have a dream to talk from giant stages with wireless microphones to thousands of adoring fans. Most of the planet doesn't have that dream. Right? We are downloaded with the dreams that are for us. And so if there's something you feel really drawn to put on the left side of that list, it's meant for you.
Where are we downloading this from?
You. Well, again, I think that's to each their own. I happen to be a Christian. I'm studying Christianity more and more, but I also really do believe in The Secret. I believe that thoughts become things. I believe that we attract to us what we are in the world. And so I don't know. I'm a generalist.
Oh my God! You still are saying that after all these years. You're still saying you're a generalist.
I am. I like to take what works for me. I am. That's the truth.
Oh, the power of that program.
I like it all.
I have to ask you this, but first, I'm going and buying a new fridge today, baby. From Lowe's,
and then what's on the must-have list? An ice maker.
I'm getting me a blue Honda CRX. No, but thank you for doing this. If it's cool with you, I would love to introduce this to a few of my clients who are making some decisions right now.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. I actually did it. So I'm really looking forward to looking at this. I might need a coaching session with you to help me.
We should trade. That would be so much fun. We should barter. We should barter some coaching.
So I cannot move forward with this interview unless I know more about what's going on with this adult online dating book.
Okay. Well, so long story short, I was divorced a couple years ago, right after I quit my big nonprofit domestic violence job. And so to give you a sense of my life, in about 5 weeks, I left my job, found out I was getting divorced, had to find an apartment, move, had a birthday, and started life coach certification in a 5-week period. And part of what that did for me was gave me the opportunity to do a whole lot of self-coaching. There was a whole lot of thought management and mind management, and but also healing, really, like really taking good care of myself for a while after that. And so then I was off from everything. It didn't even cross my mind to date. And then all of a sudden it did. And I was like, for me, that was how I knew I was ready, because it was just not on the radar. And then all of a sudden it was. And to be honest, this part is still kind of crazy to me. It never crossed my mind to think about how long I would do it. I just felt like I'm pretty great. There's great people in the world. This is going to be fun. Never thought about a time frame. And now here I am a year in. And so I've been on lots and lots and lots of great dates and fun dates, knock on wood. I've never had anything weird or inappropriate or scary or anything like that.
Anything stick where you're like, to me, this one could work out?
There were a few people that I went on multiple dates with.
Okay.
But I will tell you, Mark, and this could be a coaching topic for us, but or for other people in the world, there are some men, let me not be too generalist or generic, right? But there are some men that are really insecure about having a really strong woman who doesn't need a man in her life.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so I always tell people, like, I don't need someone to take care of me. I want someone who wants to. And those are dramatically different things.
Yep.
And so when you are a person who really enjoys public speaking and has an opinion and a voice and a PhD and friends and goes places and does things and has a lot of plates in the air, that's off-putting for lots of folks who don't feel like they have their life as much together potentially. But again, if I'm managing my thoughts about this, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and that this was always for me about a journey and not an outcome. And similar to writing a dissertation, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I am acutely aware that every single person I talk to and every single date I go on is clarity for me in those 4 columns. Yep. Every single conversation, every single face-to-face, every single kiss, every single everything, even whether the person ghosts or how the conversation stops, every bit of that offers me nuggets to go back on those 4 columns about what I want, what I don't want. Because here's the thing I learned that is sad and disheartening for me, but when we're really young, and I wasn't really young when I got married, I was 27 or 28, but you end up to settle down with, whether it's marriage or move in or whatever your deal is, with the best person that's come along to that point.
Yeah.
But the problem is, for most of us, the pool isn't very deep. There weren't lots and lots of people to be able to experience before you decided, yeah, I can do it with this one. I can settle down with this one. I can make a family with this one. I could, this one's pretty great of all the people that I've been with. And my ex-husband is wonderful and we are still friendly. But it wasn't love and intimacy and passion and all the things that I'm unwilling to not have. And so here we are now, both looking for people that are a better fit for us. And in this phase of our lives, at 38, I want dramatically different things than I wanted at 28.
True.
And so but it's fun. It can be fun. It can be crazy. I've been approached by no less than 6 incarcerated men. That will be a funny story in the book. And just my counselor said, one day she said, "Are you journaling about this?" And I sort of gave her the side eye and I was like, "Should I be? Like, am I losing my mind or something? Like, is there something you're implying here?" And she said, no. She said, "I think that there's not a book out there that exists that is a woman with some EQ going through this process sincerely, learning from it, reflecting on it, growing from it. And there are people in the world that want to hear what you have to say about this." And I don't know, I just got chills. I got goosebumps. Yeah. And for me, that's God and my agreement that when there is a message for me, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
And so that's my flow.
Are there any chapters where you give us tips on optimizing our online profile?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah.
Then let's do it right now.
Everything then from what is your name, your handle, right? There was like just yesterday, I shook my head. There was one, it said like Rude Boy 17 or something. And I was like, sign me right up for the rude dude. So who does that?
I have to show you. Now, I'm not going to show you the picture of me holding up my abs in the
bathroom
in the bathroom because it's just weird with a dad bod. But
and you said I never laugh.
Yeah, and okay, so this is my profile.
All your stuff. Yes.
This is my Bumble profile.
Yeah, I was gonna
right?
say that looks like Bumble. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the cover picture? Should I change it? Would you not take that seriously? I was going for energy and levity. Like, here's a couple other ones. I think none of them I'm taking myself seriously. That's a really close shot of my face when I was singing. This is when I broke my arm. Really great side headshot of me looking in the ground. There you're kind of chilling.
Yeah, lots of your professional coaching shots. So
yes, I use them for multiple things.
Well, right, and that's awesome. But here's the thing I would say to people is, and I'm going to write my book through workshops, which is going to be this totally unorthodox thing. We're going to audio and video record my workshops, and then somebody's going to transcribe that, and that's going to write the bulk of the book, which I'm stoked about, which means I don't have to sit at a computer for 10 hours a day. That is the whole point to all this.
That is so
I'd much rather be speaking and doing workshops and having that, back and forth with an audience. And so that's how it's going to get turned into the book. But for me, that's exactly it. Is like, what is the message you want to be sending? And then do those pictures articulate that message? And on the opposite end of the spectrum from what you're asking, like, there are men that have money and drugs as their only pictures. And I'm like, so tell me what exactly you're hoping to achieve here. There's something very clear, and they're going to get that, right? They're going to get.
I'm so happy that you're. This is Jewel. This is jewels. These are gems. These are jewels. Yes. Then I feel good.
I feel and are you putting that out in the world?
I feel in integrity with what the pictures that I put out because I want to put out joy.
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. But part of what it's doing for you is it's putting out this really professional, but as you said, like, you have crazy hair and that's part of your personality, and you do a lot of speaking, and so the microphone totally makes sense. The piece that's not there, but only because I know this about you, is you are a family man. And none of your pictures portray that. Now, I can understand you may not want to put a picture of a minor on your site, and I can absolutely buy into that, being a person that ran a domestic violence shelter.
Yeah.
But there has to be a way that you purport that you're a family man without putting any minors on the internet?
Oh, I do have one.
Okay, good.
Check
Yes.
that out.
Perfect. See?
Wow.
That's better.
Wow. And doesn't that look like a great dad right there? Look at that shot.
If you do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself. Okay, I have to go through this. I'm so intrigued. I'm going to get called out for it because I talk about myself, not what I want. I realize that. And maybe that's what I need to be talking about. But here's my thing. About me. Mm-hmm.
You went down this path. I just want you to remember, I did not ask you to put your Bumble profile on your video.
Okay, happiness. I research it and teach it. Also, a life coach for misfits and mavericks looking to serve the greater good. Mm-hmm. Roller derby is my boss. I have a feeling that I'm reverse aging. I answer almost every question with, because this engine runs hot. Go ahead, ask me something.
Why are you laughing?
I think it's just the most hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I think it's, I don't know.
And so would you say you're hilarious?
I think that's sort of it is my humor. You know, I mean, it's very dry. Like, I mean, in real life, I'm like, it would be something like, yeah, I answer every question with, because this engine runs. Like, it's very like, you know, like stuff like that. But like, I do think that I'm a total goofball.
So the people that have been connecting with you, what's been missing from them?
To be quite honest with you, like I still feel like it's a hookup site.
Okay, so Bumble has more professional people on it, but there are way fewer people looking for relationships. That is absolutely true. Yeah. I can tell you, and this is actually going to be a chapter 2, is like how I perceive each of like 8 different dating sites, because they're all dramatically different from one another, right? There are pros and cons to each, and like everybody says, Plenty of Fish sucks. Plenty of Fish absolutely has the bottom of the barrel. No one will argue that. But there are some amazing people in Plenty of Fish too. So you just have to be willing to sort of run the gamut, right? I mean, that's just the truth. I won't get into all of them. I think. Let me consult with you for a minute because I'm going to give you 1 ounce of advice. And coaches don't give advice.
Tell it to me straight.
There is no part of that talks about how you connect with people.
Yeah.
And so you hit the nail on the head earlier about you're not saying what you're looking for. So like if I read that, I wouldn't really like if I read that, I might think, dude, this guy's pretty
absorbed,
focused.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if I'm really what he's looking for, and I don't know if he really wants what kind of connection he's looking for.
Yeah.
And for somebody like you and me who are heart first, like who are heart people, connection really matters.
Yeah, it does.
Like I could be wrong, but I would guess you probably, like me, have like are maybe more open to someone's appearance, pretty open to what somebody does for a living, pretty open to people of different like thoughts and beliefs, and you know, like that we could be really appreciative of somebody who is passionate about lots of different things. We just would care that they're passionate about something. And we would care that they can connect.
We just went there. We looked at my Bumble profile, and
that was on you.
To be quite honest with you, and to be very vulnerable, like part of me feels like I don't deserve to be dating right now until I get my business up. You know, I feel like I don't deserve it. And so I think in many ways I look at it and I'm like, it's a half-assed thing because, you know, maybe I could definitely rewrite it based on this, you know.
So is it worth any of your time right now?
I don't put much time at it at all. But then when you talk about it, like, I'm like, I'm going to have her look at my Bumble profile. We're going to get some ratings.
But here's the thing about Bumble, though, too, is, right, you have 24 hours either way. So if you're not willing to spend the time, that's not the right app for you.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about it. Allison was on Plenty of Fish years ago, bottom of the barrel. Kelly was giving me the feedback, must know more. Allison thought it was absolutely hilarious what we're doing. She was literally laughing out loud. So thank you guys for entertaining that. I thought that was brilliant. So I'm putting up Nikki's.
You're not getting my dating profile.
I'm putting up Nikki's profile, which is purple vixen 123 XX5. No, but Nikki, you definitely have shown how dynamic you are as a coach. You've shown us some very, very important tools. And I think what I love about today is that there's an art to being able to coach. It's not all
cookie cutter formula.
Yeah, it's not all formula. You have to really listen to the person. And I put you through the ringer. I asked you to look at my thing. In terms of my Bumble profile, I asked you for some clear tools, and you gave it to us. And you usually charge people for that, and that's value that you gave. And so I appreciate that. Again, for those of you who are watching, share this out. This is value. This is value that can improve a lot of lives. There's a lot of people who are making decisions about absolutely nots right now, when they could be moving to the must-haves in their life. So please share this one out. Nikki Tobias, Dr. Nikki Tobias, you have said it all. I want you to like Nikki. I want you to love Nikki. I want you to want some more of Nikki. And I want you to also email Nikki. Nikki, what do we get when we email you?
Yeah, so connection more than anything. I'm happy to chat about just about anything with just about anybody. Again, you don't run a domestic violence shelter and manage the kind of crises that I've managed and not be able to talk about anything. And so I would want people to know that, whether it's a mucky situation or a really sad thing or a really hard thing or a really exciting thing, I want to connect about it. My business is called Grounded Vision, GROUNDED Vision. So I'm on Facebook on Grounded Vision. I'm on YouTube on Grounded Vision. I have some podcasts on Apple iTunes. If you just search my name, you'll find some of that. That's a little bit older, but really good stuff there if you're interested.
Yeah. And do you mind putting the links up in the comment boxes at the end?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Okay. So share it out. Just that we haven't talked since grad school, and we need to talk much sooner. We need to stay in touch, especially with this damn Bumble profile now. I'm like, man, did I botch that one up?
I'll send you a bill.
Yeah, I know. So this is why it's called the Golden Mic, Nikki. I want to do a quick visioning exercise with you. Number one, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for I tell you this, not enough, but like every step of my journey, Nikki was always there to be my pace car, and we never talked about it. I would Facebook her and be like, what do you think of this? Or do you think that this is a good thing to do? And like, actually hearing you drop these pipe bombs is an honor. And like, I just feel so happy that like I could finally provide something for you to share a platform for you. So here we go. I want you to imagine that a golden mic is coming from the ceiling and it's resting in front of you, right? And for up to 2 minutes, this golden mic translates into every language all across the world. Everybody's listening, Nikki. Nikki Tobias, your golden mic is live now.
My friends, our lives are of our creation. You know, when I think about the number of lives that never make it into existence, the number of babies that are not born, the number of times that that sex happens and no life comes of it, I am reminded that each of our lives are of such value, of such incredible, incredible value in this world. And we were not put here by accident. And you have a legacy to leave, and you have people to serve, and you have things to do in this world that are not meant for anyone else to do. They're only meant for you. That dream is meant for you. And so I just encourage you to find people like Marc and I, to find coaches, to find resources, counselors, teachers, mentors. Find the people that are going to help you live the life that is of your dreams. Because, you know, I don't want to be one of those people, and I don't want you to be one of those people that our goals and our dreams end up in the ground with us when we die because we didn't have the guts to do it.
Nikki Tobias, you've said enough. Fist pound. Now I want you to take that golden mic in your hand. Take that golden mic in your hand. And I want you to smash that golden mic because you dropped it like it was hot. Pipe bomb over and over. It was pipe bomb after pipe bomb. I want y'all to share this episode out. This was a magical episode. We knew it when we texted each other last night that this one was going to be a special one. My name is Marc Cordon. This is Nikki Tobias. This has been Golden Mike episode 63, I believe. We are going to turn the golden mic off for the weekend. I want you to spend time with your family and your friends. Let's get away from this social media stuff for a little while and just enjoy time with people around us, right? And I've got one final app. And my dating app, yeah. and I got one final question for everybody who's watching. If you're feeling good and you're living life in full purpose, what is your responsibility to change history for the better? This has been the Golden Mic, and we're shutting it down for the weekend. Take care.